In this training video, we're just going to cover all across the board how to format objects. For example, we're going to start with word art. I know we covered it over a little bit, but this is going to be across the board now. So I have word art here, or I just have plain text. It doesn't matter because I can apply word art to any text, or I can change the word art that's already been applied, as you can see in this text. If you're not familiar with it by now, word art actually has fancy features to it. I mean, text by itself does not give a reflection, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click in here, click and drag to select the text, or the word art in this case. Come up here to the related format tab, come to the word art styles, and then just click on the more button and hover over whatever word art you'd like to see there. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it to accept it. And then just keep in mind you have options for your word art. I mean, that's the default style, but you can change the style with these three little buttons. You want to fill in the text a little bit differently than white, go ahead and click on the drop down arrow. You want the outline of the text not to be green, go ahead and click on the drop down arrow, choose a different outline. Let me click off in a blank area here. And then finally you have the text effects. Like, remember how it had that reflection down below here? Well, you can click on the text effects here, drop down, give it reflection, then come over here and give it a different type of reflection, something tight or stronger. I mean, this could look great on pictures here when you actually give reflections to pictures, but you know, maybe like autumn, fall leaves or something. But for right now, I think the tight reflection looks good. I'll click on that and click off in a blank area. And that looks all right. Although I prefer the blue for introduction here. Undo, undo, and click off in a blank area. Now let's move on to brightness of our images here. I'm going to go down to slide 6, click on it, and I'm going to look at the ghost here. Now as far as brightness goes, maybe you want to throw more light onto the ghost so he's a little bit brighter, or less light so it's darker. To do so, after you select your clip art here, or even your picture, come up here to its related format tab, come over here to the adjust group, and then click on the brightness arrow. And you get some defaults here, 40% brightness when you hover over it. You can see the ghost. Boy, he's really bleached out here. And then it gets a little bit darker, so much so that he just looks, well, actually, that looks pretty cool. It looks more coming in from the background. I mean, that's got some pretty rich colors like you would have for Halloween. And then, of course, if you want different options than the defaults you have here, you can always click on picture correction options here. And then let me click and drag the screen over just a little bit by dragging on the title bar. And then you got brightness that's not just by 10 or 20%, but you could actually do it by 1% up or down, okay? Now to apply some transparent color. I'm looking at my ghost here, and some of the clip art you'll have. For example, let me click and drag my ghost down a bit. You see how it's got this black outline, this shadow around it? What if I want to make that transparent so it's see-through? So I just have the ghost itself. You'll find other clip art that if you decide to use for Microsoft when you insert it, it'll have the main picture, but then it'll have like a background color. If you don't like the background color, you'd like to get rid of it. In other words, you want it to be transparent so it's seen through. So I just have the main picture here. First select the object, come to your Format tab. Again, we'll go into the Adjust group. Click on the Recolor drop-down arrow. Go down to Set Transparent Color. Once you click on it, your pointer is going to get like a little tiny point on the edge of your pointer, and what you want to do is right there is just click on the color that you want to be transparent, you want to disappear so it's see-through. So I'm going to move my pointer over here over the darkness. Now keep in mind that the color has to be uniform. So for example, if I click on this white color, it's just the white's going to be transparent. Or if I click on this kind of more purplish color, but if you get a checkered color and it's really mixed in together, there's no way that PowerPoint can define what color is you want to be transparent, so you'll probably get something blotchy. But since this is such a solid color here, it's obviously black. When I click on it, it's transparent now, it disappears. So all I have is the ghost, so I click and drag and move him back up. Of course, it's not going to make much of a difference because the black outline blends in with the dark background, or almost the black background anyways, but you get the idea. Of course, I want to have a little fun in this video. I'm going to click on Recolor and just look at the different color modes or variations. Some of them may fit, like if you're in a 70s funky movie. Finally, for a few more effects on your objects, you can do multiple fills. In other words, I'm going to come up here to slide 4. Let me go ahead and click on the first arrow here, hold down the shift key and click on the second. All you have to do is shift click to be able to select multiple objects here, and then you can do multiple fills. So if I want to change the color from green to something else, you can come up here and do it in the drawing group on the home tab, or come up and click on the format tab, and then come over to shape styles and click on the fill arrow and choose some colors here, and you can see it how they, oh, that looks even cooler. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Of course, it fades the process here, but nonetheless, you can do multiple fills just by holding down the shift key and clicking on each additional object that you would like to include when you make the changes of the formatting, in this case for the shape fill. Click off in a blank area. Looks really nice. How about some shape effects? So I'm going to go ahead and click and select the first shape, hold down the shift key and select the second. And for my shape effects, I mean, look, you've got more than one way to do this. You can do it on the Format tab, or you can come here to the Drawing group on the Home tab here, and click on Shape Effects here. I mean, like I said, it's on the Format tab. There's Shape Effects, but it's in the Shape Styles group, not on the Home tab like the Drawing group would have it. And the reason why it's on different tabs is because let's say you're in the middle of formatting a lot of objects. You could get everything here that you want under one tab, or maybe you just want to do some light formatting. So you're still working on text and layouts and other things, but it gives you the option to have to stay on one tab by clicking on the Shape Effects in the Drawing group here without having going to the Format tab. Click on Shape Effects. Give it some reflections, some glows. Let's see what it looks like with reflections. I mean, that looks nice. You can see it's subtle there. And then go to something deeper. I mean, give it a huge reflection there. In any case, I like it a little bit more subtle. Half reflection. Click on it. Click off in a blank area. You can see it's got some reflection there. And that may work on some presentations. It may not work on others. For this one, it's more distracting. In other words, I'm trying to get a point across without going, hey, look at the gee whiz effects. Look what I can do, reflections. I mean, all you're going to do is distract from your point. You're not going to be able to, I don't think, make a good sale. Then if you have something that looks nice and pleasing that directs the eye from the point to the shoot to the follow. This should be more faded and focused around the actual points that you're making, no pun intended here, than the actual just, hey, look at all the pretty colors I can do. Remember, objects, shapes, colors, everything you can do in PowerPoint is supposed to enhance or sell your presentation, not supposed to take it away, because then all you're doing is selling PowerPoint, you're not selling your product. Finally, we can add some 3D effects to my objects here. Let me hold down the Shift key and click on both. And then coming up here on the Home tab in the Drawing group, I want to click its expandable dialog box button. Come down here to 3D rotation. Maybe I want to rotate this in a 3D effect way. And you can do it along the X-axis, which is horizontal, Y, which is vertical, and then the Z-axis. So all you have to do is just use your arrows and see how it flips. As you're watching it here, as you can see as I'm clicking and moving it around by degrees here, up 338, 12.3 degrees for my Y-axis. In other words, go ahead and be a little bit fancy by moving them around, then click off in a blank area to see how it affects it. If you like it, go ahead and close out of it. And know that you can do that. Don't do it for the sake of, hey, I can do this. Look at the gee whiz effects I can do. Only do it if it actually applies in your PowerPoint presentation. First idea, get the skeleton down, get the text. Next, go ahead and add some pictures that are nice, but only if they fit. Avoid doing the gee whiz effects here. See, for example, like right here, that may be a little bit too much, so I think I'll just hit undo. But nonetheless, you know how to do it. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.